ओम जय साईनाथ, जय साईनाथ। आदि न अंत तुम्हारा, तुम्हें श्रद्धा नमन हमारा।
ओम साई राम। साई श्रद्धा सबूरी चैनल से आप सभी भक्तों को स्वागत है। आप लोगों का प्यार इतना मिल रहा है हम लोगों को, इसलिए हम लोग बहुत धन्यवाद करते हैं आप लोगों को। और आप लोग हर रोज़ साई सच्चरित्र देख रहे हैं हम लोगों का इस चैनल के माध्यम से, तो देखते जाइए। और एक बात, आप लोग साई सच्चरित्र अलग अलग लैंग्वेज में आप लोग देख सकते हैं और कह भी सकते हैं। तो आप लोग हर रोज़ साई सच्चरित्र पाठ पढ़िए और इस चैनल के माध्यम से देखिए। ओम साई राम।
Om Sai Ram. My name is Reena Roy. I am from London. Today, through the YouTube channel of Sai Shraddha Shaburi, I would recite the chapter 33 of Sai Satcharitra. I hope you like it. Now I am starting. Preliminary. Let us bow now before the great saints. Their merciful glances will destroy mountains of sins and do away with all the evil taints of our character. Their casual talk gives us good teachings and confers on us imperishable happiness. Their minds do not know any differences, such as this is ours and that is yours. Such differentiation never arises in their minds. Their debt's obligation will never be repaid by us in this birth as well as in many future births. Udi. It is well known that Baba took Dakshina from all, and out of the amount thus collected, he spent a lot on charity and purchased fuel with the balance left with him. This fuel is threw in the Dhuni, the sacred fire, which he kept ever burning. The ash from this fire was also called Udi, and it was freely distributed to the devotees at the time of their departure from Shirdi. Scorpion sting. Narayan Motiram Jani of Nasik was a devotee of Baba. He was serving under another devotee of Baba by name Ramachandra Bhaman Madak. Once he went to Shirdi with his mother and saw Baba. Then Baba himself told her that he, her son, should serve no more, but start independent business. Some days after this prophecy turned true, Narayan Jani left service and started a boarding house Anandashram, which thrived well. Once a friend of this Narayan Rao was stung by a scorpion, and the pain caused by it was severe and unbearable. Udi is the most efficacious in such cases. It is to be applied on the seat of pain, and so Narayan Rao searched for it, but found none. Then he stood before Baba's picture and invoked Baba's aid, chanted Baba's name, and taking out a pinch of ashes of the joss-stick, burning in front of the Baba's picture, and thinking it to be Baba's Udi, applied it on the seat of pain and the sting. As soon as he took out his fingers, the pain vanished, and both the persons were moved and felt delighted. Bubonic plague case. Once a devotee in Bandra came to know that his daughter, who was staying in another place, was down the bubonic plague. He had no Udi with him, so he sent word to Nana Sahib Chandrakar to send the same. Nana Sahib got this message on a road near the Thane railway station when he was travelling with his wife to Kallan. He had no Udi with him at that time. He therefore took up some earth from the road, meditated upon Sai Baba, invoked his aid, and applied it on the forehead of his wife. The devotee saw all this, and when he went to his daughter's house, he was very glad to learn that his daughter, who was suffering for 3 days, began to improve from the very moment Nana Sahib invoked Baba's aid near the Thane railway station. What did Baba teach or hint by this Uti? Baba taught by his Uti that all the visible phenomena in this universe are as transient as the ash. Our bodies, composed of wood or matter of the five elements, will fall down after all their enjoyments are over and be reduced to ashes in order to remind the devotees of the fact that their bodies will be reduced to ashes. Baba distributed Udi to them. Baba also taught by the Udi that the Brahman is the only reality and the universe is ephemeral and that no one in this world, be a son, father, or wife, is really ours. We come here in this world alone and we have to go to out alone. It was found and is even now found out that the Udi cured many physical and mental maladies. But Baba wanted to dig into the devotees' ears the principles of discrimination between the unreal and real, non attachment for the unreal by his Udi and Dakshina. The former Udi taught us discrimination and the latter Dakshina taught us non-attachment. Unless we have these two things, it is not possible for us to cross over the sea of the mundane existence. So Baba asked for and took Dakshina, and while the devotees took leave, he gave Udi as prasad, smeared some of it on the basket's bhakta's forehead and placed it is boom conferring and on their heads. When Baba was in a cheerful mood, he used to sing merrily. One such song was about Udi. The burden of the Udi song was this: "O playful Rama, come and bring with you sets of Udi." Baba used to sing in very clear and sweet tones. So much about the spiritual implication of Udi, it had also the material significance. It conferred health, prosperity, freedom from anxiety, and many other worldly gains. So the Udi has helped us to gain both our ends material as well as spiritual. We shall now begin with the stories about the Udi. The Jamnar miracle. About 1904-5, Nanasaheb Chandorkar, Mamladar at Jamnar in the Khandesh district, which is more than 100 miles distant from Shirdi. His daughter Monitai was pregnant and was about to deliver. Her case was very serious and she was suffering from labor pains for the last 2 or 3 days. Nana Sahib tried all the remedies but they proved in vain. He then remembered Baba and invoked his aid there is in Shirdi. One Ramgir Bhuba, whom Baba called Bapugir Bhuba, wanted at this time to go to his native place in Khandesh. Baba called him and told him to take a little rest and stop at Jamnar on his way home and give the Udi and Arti to Nana Sahib. Ramgir Bhuba said that he had only 2 rupees with him and that amount was barely sufficient for the railway fare up to Jalgaon and it was not possible for him to go from Jalgaon to Jamnar, a distance of about 30 miles. Baba assured him that he need not worry as everything would be provided for him. Then Baba asked Shama to write well-known Arti composed by Madhav Akhtar. A translation of this is given at the end of this work and give a copy of it with Udi to Ramgir Bhuba to be delivered to Nana Sahib. Then relying on Baba's words, Ramgir Bhuba left Shirdi and reached Jalgaon at about 2:45 am. He had only 2 annas left with him and was in a world and was in a hard plight. To his great relief, he heard somebody calling out, "Who is Bapugi Baba of Shiti?" He went to him and told him that he was the person of Bapugi Baba. Then the peon, professing to be sent by Nana Sahib, took him out to an excellent tanga with a good pair of horses. They both drove in it. The tanga ran fast, and early in the morning they came to a booklet. They drive to the horses were watering them, and the peon asked Ramgir Baba to partake of some eatables. On seeing the beard, mustard, and the livery of the peon, Ramgir Baba suspected him to be a Muslim and was unwillingly to take any refreshment from him. But the peon satisfied him by saying that he was a Hindu, a Kshatriya of Garhwal, and that Nana Sahib had set this refreshment and that there should be no difficulty nor any about acceptance. Then both of them took the refreshment and started again. They reached Jamnar at dawn. Ramgir Baba alighted to attend a call of nature passing urine and returned within a few minutes, but found that there was no tanga, no driver, and no peon. He was dumbfounded. Then he went to the neighboring Karchari and making enquiries, learned that the Mamlatdar was at home. He went to Nana Sahib house and announced himself and gave the Nana Sahib Baba's Hudi and Arti. At this time, Moinatai's case was most serious and all were in deep anxiety about her. Nana Sahib called out his wife and asked her to give the Hudi mixed with water to their daughter to drink and sing Baba's Arti. He thought that Baba's health was most opportune. In a few minutes came the news that the delivery was safe and that the crisis had passed away. When Ramgir Baba thanked Nana Sahib for the peon, tanga and the refreshment, etc., the latter was greatly surprised as he had sent none to the station and was not aware of any person coming from Shiti. Mr. B.P. Dev of Thane, retired Mamlatdar, made enquiries about this matter with Baburao Chandrakar, son of Nana Sahib and Ramgir Baba of Shiti, and after satisfying himself wrote an elaborate article, part prose and part poetry, in Sri Shailila magazine. The following quoted from Ramgir Baba's statement: "One day Baba called me to him and gave me a packet of Hudi and a copy of Baba's Arti. I had to go to Khandesh. At the time, Baba directed me to go to Jamna and told me to deliver the Arti and Hudi to Nana Sahib Chandrakar at Jamna. I said to Baba that all I had was ₹2 and asked him how that would take me by train from Kopargaon to Jalgaon and next by car from Jalgaon to Jamna. Baba said, God will give. That was Friday and I started at once. I reached Manmade at 7:30 p.m. and Jalgaon at 2:45 a.m. At that time, tag regulations were enforced and I had much trouble. I was to discover what I should do to get to Jamna. At about 3 a.m., a peon in boots, turban, and well equipped with other details of good dress came to me and took me to a tanga and drove me on. I was in terror. On the way of Bhagur, I took refreshment. We reached Jamnar early in the morning, and by the time I attended my call of nature, the tanga and its driver had disappeared. Narayan Rao. Bhakta Narayan Rao, father's name and surname are not given, had the good fortune to see Baba twice during the latter's lifetime. 3 years after the passing away of Baba in 1918, he wanted to came to Shiti, but he could not come. Within a year of Baba's Mahasamadhi, he fell sick and suffered much. All ordinary remedies gave him no relief. So he meditated on Baba day and night. One night he had a vision in his dream. Baba coming to him through a cellar comforted him, saying, "Don't be anxious, you will be improving from tomorrow, and within a week you will be on your legs." Narayan Rao got perfectly well within the time mentioned in the vision. Now, the point of consideration in this, was Baba living because he had the body, and was he dead because he left it? No, Baba is ever alive, for he transcends both life and death. He who loved him once wholeheartedly get response from him at any time and at any place. He is always by our side and will take any form and appear before the devout bhakta and satisfy him. Appasaheb Kulkarni. In 1917, the chance of one Appasaheb Kulkarni came. He was transferred to Thane and began to worship Baba's picture presented to him by Balasaheb Gadde. In real earnest, he did the worship. He offered flowers, sandal paste, and Naivedya daily to Baba in the picture and longed intently to see him. In this connection, it may be remarked that seeing Baba's picture earnestly is equivalent to seeing him in person. The following story illustration is statement. Balabhuba Sudhar, a saint of Bombay named Balabhuba Sudhar, who on account of his pity, devotion and bhajan was called modern Tukaram, came to Siddhi for the first time in 1917. When he bowed before Baba, the latter said, "I know this man since 4 years." Balabhuba wondered that thought, how could that be, as that was his first trip to Siddhi? But thinking about it seriously, he recollected that he prostrated himself 4 years ago before Baba's portrait at Bombay and was convinced about the significance of Baba's word. He said to himself, how omniscient and all-pervading are the saints and how kind are they to their bhaktas. I merely bowed to him photo. This fact was noticed by Baba, and in due time he made me realize that seeing his photo is equivalent to seeing him in person. Appasaheb Kulkarni. To return to Appasaheb's story, while he was in Thana, he had to go on tour to Bhiwandi and was not expected to return within a week. In his absence, the following wonderful thing took place. On the third day, at noon, a fakir turned up at Appasaheb's house. His features resemble exactly those of Baba's photo. Mr. Kulkarni, Mrs. Kulkarni, and the children all asked him whether he was Sai Baba or Siddhi. He said no, but that he was an obedient servant of his and came there at his house to inquire after the health of the family. Then he asked for dakshina. The lady gave him a rupee. He gave her a small packet of rupee and asked her to keep this in the shrine along with the photo for worship. Then he left the house and went away. Now hear the wonderful Leelas of Sai. Appasaheb could not proceed with his tour as his house fell sick at Bhiwandi. He returned home that afternoon and learned from his wife about Fakir's visit. He smarted in his mind and he did not get the darshan of the Fakir, and he did not like that only 1 rupee was paid as dakshina. He said that had he been present, he would have offered not less than rupees 10. Then he immediately started in quest of the fakir and searched for him in the masjid and other places. Without taking any food, his search was in vain. He then returned home and took his food. The reader may remember here Baba's dictum in chapter 32 that God quest should not be made on an empty belly. Apashep got a lesson here about this. Then, after meals, he went out for a walk with a friend, Mr. Chitre. Going some distance, they saw a man approaching them rapidly. Apashep, though that he must be the fakirs that came to his house at noon, as his feature tallied with those of Baba in the photo. The fakir immediately put forth his hand and asked for dakshina. Apashep gave him a rupee. He demanded again, and so Apashep gave him 2 more. Still he was not satisfied. Then he borrowed rupees 3 from Mr. Chitre and gave them to him. He wanted still more. Apashep asked him to accompany him to his home. They all returned home and Apashep gave him again 3 rupees. In all 9, he took unsatisfied and demanded again. Then he told that he had a currency of rupees 10. The fakir asked for the same and took it and returned the 9 rupees in cash and went away. Apashep had said that he would pay rupees 10 and that sum was taken from him and 9 rupees consecrated by Baba's touch were returned to him. The figure 9 is significant. It denotes the 9 types of devotion. While chapter 21. It may also be noted here the Baba gave rupees 9 to one Lakshmi Bai Shinde and his last moment. Apashep examined the Udi packet and found that it contained some flower, petals and akshata. Then some time afterwards he got here from Baba when he saw him at Shiti. He put the Udi packet and the hair in a talisman and always wore it on his arm. Apashep realized the power of Udi. Though he was very clever, he got rupees 40 as pay in the beginning. But after he secured Baba's photo and his Udi, he got many times 40 rupees per month and also got much power and influences. And along with this temporal benefit, his spiritual progress was also rapid. So those who are fortunate enough to get Baba's Udi should after birth apply it on the forehead and take some little of it mixed with water in the mouth as holy teeth. Haribahu Karnik. In 1917, Haribahu Karnik of Thane district came to Shiti on the Guru Purnima day in the month of Ashradha and worshipped Baba with all formality. He offered clothes and dakshina, and after taking Baba's leave, Shama got down the steps of the masjid. Then he thought that he should offer 1 more rupee to Baba and was just turning to get up when Shama informed him by signs that as he had got Baba's leave, he should go and not return. So he started home. On his way, when he went into the temple of Kalarama at Nasik for darshan, the Saint Narsingh Maharaj, who used to sit just inside the big door of the temple, left his bhaktas there, came to Haribahu caught his wrist and said, "Give me my 1 rupee." Karnik was surprised. He paid the rupee most willingly and thought that Sai Baba recovered the rupee which he intended in his mind to give through Saint Narsingh Maharaj. This shows how the saint work in the unison. Om Sai Ram.